All right, let's talk about something I think we've all been through. You know that feeling? You've got this big thing you need to do, but you're just waiting for that magical bolt of motivation to hit you. Well, today we're going to dismantle that whole idea because it turns out waiting is pretty much the worst thing you can do.
So, does this sound familiar? You've got that big project, right? Or maybe a new goal, or even just something nagging at you on your to-do list. And you're just sitting there waiting to feel like doing it. You're waiting for that perfect moment, that lightning strike of inspiration. But let's be honest, how often does that actually happen? Right? Most of the time it just doesn't. And you're stuck right where you began.
Yeah, that whole waiting game, that's what we're calling the motivation trap. And it really is a trap. It's this sneaky little cycle that keeps so many of us from actually making a move on the stuff we really care about. So, how does it actually get its hooks in us?
Okay, so at the very core of this whole trap is one single, really flawed idea. We've all been kind of taught to think that you need motivation first, that it's this special fuel you have to go find before you can even turn the key on the engine. We think we have to feel ready or feel inspired before we can actually, do anything.
So here's the myth in a nutshell. Motivation leads to action. That's what we think. But the reality of that logic, it's a total dead end. Because if you're sitting there with no motivation, well, then you take no action, and you're just stuck. Simple as that. So the big question is, how do we escape this thing? Well, it's not about gritting your teeth and trying to find more willpower, and it's definitely not about waiting harder. No, the solution is to flip the whole thing on its head. We're about to do a complete 180 on this idea. And here it is. This is the key that unlocks the whole thing. It has nothing to do with some grand, dramatic start. It's all about a tiny, tiny finish. Get this. Finishing just 1 minute of work is enough to create those good feelings. The very feelings that generate the motivation to keep going. Yeah, just 60 seconds. That's all it can take to completely shift your mindset. So, this is the crucial part. This is the big flip. We've had it completely backward this whole time. It's not motivation leads to action. No, it's action creates motivation. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. Action creates motivation. Action is the spark that lights the fire, not the other way around.
And this idea is at the heart of what we call the productivity cycle. The best way to think about it is like a feedback loop or like an engine that powers itself. It's a system that you can actually build for yourself where the simple act of doing something, no matter how small, gives you that little emotional reward, that little buzz of motivation that makes you want to do the next.
All right, so let's pop the hood and see exactly how this engine works. Let's break it down.
So what's the entry fee? What do you need to get this amazing cycle started? It's almost ridiculously simple. Just 1 minute. That's it. Not an hour, not some huge first step. We're talking 1 minute of work. Just set a timer for 60 seconds and go.
Okay, here's how the loop actually works in practice. Step 1, you start a super small action. I mean tiny, like answering one email or writing just one sentence. Step 2, because it's so small, you actually finish it, and that's key. Step 3, that little act of completion gives your brain this feeling of a small victory. It's like a tiny heck yeah moment. And guess what? That feeling is the motivation you were sitting around waiting for. And now you've got it, you can use that little bit of fuel to go again, to repeat the loop.
And once you get that wheel turning, it really does become this kind of self-powering engine. Each little action you complete just fuels the next one. It's proof that momentum isn't some magical thing you have to wait to find. It's something you build, piece by piece, 1 minute at a time.
So look, this isn't just some neat little psychological theory. This is a real practical tool, something you can start using literally the second you finish listening to this. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about how you can start your own engine.
All right, so let's boil this all down. What do you need to do? First, just stop waiting. From now on, when you feel that stuck feeling, I want you to recognize it for what it is, the motivation trap. Next, ingrain this in your mind. Action is the fuel, not the end goal. And to get that fuel, make it stupidly easy to start. We're talking just 1 minute of work. Do that 1 minute, feel that little win, and let that push you into the next minute. If you can do that over and over, you're not just getting stuff done, you're building your very own productivity engine. Look, if you take away only one single thing from all this, please let it be this. You do not need motivation to start. You just need to start. You have permission to begin, even if you don't feel ready. In fact, that's the whole point.
So I'm going to leave you with a question, a challenge really. Forget about the big picture for a second. Forget about waiting for inspiration to strike. What is the one, tiny, 1-minute thing you can do to get your engine started right now? What will you start today?